Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, here we go. This is more like it, so I could take this. Type 3. I don't know why we need a precip type 3. Why do we need a precip type 3? I think that's a bit overkill here. Yes?
Yes, we are now live. Yes.
Oh, excellent.
We were not earlier because the machine was balking.
Oh.
So I had to restart it. Yeah, so we're good now.
So I can count down and go?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye. All righty then. Boop. Boop. Okay, great. Okay then. Okay. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. I'm meteorologist Hopper Shutt. We are looking at a little change in track of Elsa, not so much this evening, but more between last night and this morning. A little further to the west, a little further to the north. So that means a little bigger impact for us. Still going to be a quick hitter. I don't see much in terms of flooding in the metro area. There's a flood watch east of I-95. We'll show you that in a second. And it should be out of here by daybreak on Friday. So the real critical hours are overnight tomorrow and then early pre-dawn hours on Friday. So let's show you the big picture here. Here's the radar, and this is essentially where the storm is now. Look at the bands of rain and storms between Jacksonville and Savannah. That's fairly impressive. This is, these bands here moving north, right up 95, extending pretty far to the west, too. Almost going to cross over 16 toward Macon. So let's get a little tighter here. So here are the heavy bands right at this moment. And notice the brighter red, darker reds are just offshore, but they're going to spin back around and move pretty far inland as this storm tracks. Now, I will say this, that the track of the storm to the right of the storm or south, however you want to look at the track, that's where you're going to find the best chance for severe weather. So it's going south of us, so that's some good news. So here are the tropical storm watches. And my goodness, it's from the South Carolina, North Carolina border all the way up Delmarva into the bay, into Calvert County, St. Mary's County, Northern Neck, and now it extends into New England, including the Cape. So we'll zoom in a little bit here. Now you might say, hey, when's the last time we had tropical storm watches or warnings in the metro? Last August, Isaias. So it wasn't that long ago. In fact, we had tropical storm warnings all the way to Fairfax County. So again, this is Calvert, and this is St. Mary's, and then that's the Northern Neck, and then points east all have the tropical storm watches. Critical time, I'm thinking like 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Friday. We can make that probably a little tighter window, maybe 10 to 2. It's going to move pretty fast. That's the best thing about it. So here we are. So this is 8 o'clock tomorrow night, about 24 hours from now. There's the storm just to the south of Richmond. I'm going to go through some graphics here, and then by that time, I'll be able to answer your questions. Okay. I think I will be able to. Let's. I don't think it's up yet on the. I don't think it's up yet. So I'm going to go through a couple more graphics. Just keep your questions, and I'll see you in a second. So, again, 24 hours from now, there's the storm south of Richmond. Okay. Where does it go? Well, it goes right north of Reedville, Southern Bay, and that's 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And by that time, it's just a depression, okay? And we'll move it again. But the good news is that's 11 o'clock at night tomorrow. Look how far it goes by 3 o'clock. So in 4 hours, it goes from here to here. So it's going to move at a pretty good clip, which is great. That's going to reduce flooding and really will reduce any kind of wind damage if there are strong winds. Now, right now, it's keeping it as minimal straight tropical storm. Essentially, when it runs through the bay, it's a depression, then it jumps and makes tropical storm status again by 3 a.m. on Friday morning, and then moves northeastward off the coast of Jersey, off the coast of Long Island. I don't know why on this map these watches aren't all the way up, because they do extend all the way to Nantucket. All right, so there's our flash flood watch till 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Now, here's the deal. We got, Elsa coming this way, but we also have a front to the west, so we could still see some heavy downpours here, just like we did today with individual storm cells. But in terms of Elsa, this is the main area right here, and really particularly the Delmarva. And some of the models are not spitting out that much rain either. For DC, I found this graphic very interesting. European, the bullish one, 1.3. The graph now is over an inch. Now, that's kind of come up from about 0.3 to an inch. But the GEM, 0.5, what? American model, 0.6. North American model, 0.08. 800s? The next 2 days? I don't know. Seems a bit of a stretch. I think a half an inch is pretty much a lock between Elsa and the storms. So, 6 a.m. tomorrow. No worries. Driving to work. Just clouds. Temps in the 70s and low 80s. By 1 o'clock, now we're seeing, some isolated storms here and there. But in terms of Elsa, not quite yet. So now we're going to kind of advance this just a little bit. We're going to get it to like 3:30, okay? Maybe 3. Let's do it at 3. So now we're seeing, some storms here into southern Maryland, and they're pretty hefty. Okay, they're pretty hefty. So now we're going to get into, say, 6 o'clock. Notice kind of a lull. Okay, we have some rain and showers, but most of it's all green. And remember, green is light on the legend. But now, look what happens. So now we're going to get to 10 o'clock. Now, this is really Elsa itself. The other was kind of ahead of Elsa. This is all Elsa in terms of showers and storms. So this is pretty heavy. Now, again, the best chance of severe weather is down in here. Extreme southern St. Mary's and Calvert County, and then the lower Delmarva. That's at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Look how fast it goes. Boom, by 2 o'clock, it's essentially offshore. I mean, still some heavy rain in parts of Jersey and around Cape May, but the heavy activity's cleared Rehoboth and cleared Bethany and Ocean City. So that's pretty good. So again, it's a quick mover, which is fantastic. By 6 a.m. on Friday, we have sunshine again. So we're going to keep our yellow weather alert for Thursday. We're going to monitor Friday for a yellow weather alert too, just because there's maybe enough storms there to do a little yellow weather alert. But so 90 on Friday, 88 on Saturday. Not disastrous days by any means. The next 7 days, I mean, we're looking at some heat, but not average highs like 90, so or 89. So okay, we spiked to 94 on Monday, but that's not so bad. But yes, we have a chance of a storm every day. Every day. Let me go out and come back in here. Here we go. Let me turn my little self down here. All right, so Elsa, see Elsa. To fill some sand. Brian, no, I don't want to fill some sandbags. No. Let's see. We had hail. Yeah, Sean, funny you say this comment from Sean. He had hail in Leesburg. I thought that storm was severe, and I tweeted it out that looked severe to me. Thank you for telling me that, Sean, because it definitely looks severe to me. V, I mean, the European's not always more accurate. Let me go back to the winter. It had a horrible winter. We would have had 30 inches of snow if we'd listened to the European. What's the difference between the American model and the European model? Well, they're different equations. They're different algorithms. A lot of the same data goes into both, but even that varies a little bit. Both do essentially 1 trillion calculations per second. We just upgraded our speed. Rick, yeah, we're in America, but I look at the European model, the Canadian model, several American models. There's several Canadian models too. Japanese model too, a little bit. Essentially, the more information I get, the better forecast I write. That's my theory. Lewis, Delaware. Okay, one's about Lewis, Delaware. Well, let's go back to some of the. Let's go back probably to the future cast, maybe the most beneficial for some of the questions here. So Lewis, Delaware. So 6 p.m. you're still pretty quiet. Even by 8 o'clock you're pretty quiet, but then by 10 o'clock now, big stuff just to your south. Okay, and then by 2 o'clock, it's hammering Lewis, Delaware, Lewis, and Cape May. But it's just about out of Lewis. It's very close. It's really close. Hammering Cape May. So really, you're going to have like a 2 really bad hours, or maybe 3 hours of intense rain and storms, and that's it, actually. Hollywood question I'm going to answer. Do I expect damaging winds, Solomon's Island, Maryland? Neely? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, you could have a wind gust of 35 or 40, but I mean, that's not even a severe thunderstorm, so could it take down a couple of branches? Sure, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. Votes have storms every day. Oh, yeah, we have storms every day. I know. Well, it's July. Thank you. Thank you, Ollie. Wind gusts in St. Mary's. I'm gonna do a map here before the 11 o'clock. I think wind gusts in St. Mary's could be, I mean, basically yesterday now, before they issued tropical storm watch, I went winds 39 to 55 from southern Maryland to the coast. And I'm kind of sticking with that. So if you're in southern Maryland, St. Mary's County, you're more in the 39-40 range. This isn't news, Nathan. Okay. I'm just trying to ask your questions. No, that's all we're trying to do here. Sean, my boss, gave me that name. Holly. I don't know what you mean, Holly. I don't understand these some of the comments I just don't understand. Ken Island, Kim, you could see a wind gust of 40 to 50 maybe. But the good news is it's moving fast. That's, again, under a severe thunderstorm criterion, and if it were to sit there for a while, you'd have a problem. But if it's one gust and it's gone, or two gusts and it's gone, I'm not that concerned. Ocean City, Holly, I think is what you want. Ocean City, I mean, if we back this up a little bit, so the Ocean City is getting pretty well hammered from about 11:30 to about 1:30. So again, it seems like a 2 hour, time period where you're going to get hammered with Elsa on the Delmarva. Damaging winds in Chapteco. I don't think so. You could have winds of 40. I'd say 40. Hi, Lori. How are you doing, Lori Adams? Be bad storms in Fredericksburg? Not really. If we go back in Futurecast here, there's going to be a couple, but most of the heavy activity stays just to the south. The best chance of storms in Fredericksburg will be in the early mid-afternoon with that first wave, and then Elsa passes to your south. It's not really going to hit D.C. proper. It's going to miss D.C. proper. We're going to have storms if that's from an approaching front more than anything. Ocean City, what do we say about Ocean City? I just did Ocean City. We said like 11:30 to 1:30 a.m., I think. Yeah. No worry, Holly. Annapolis, I don't think it's going to be that bad in Annapolis. It's going to go south of you. The only thing I'll say is there's one band of storms that could go through briefly. So, but you are, Anne Arundel County is not under the tropical storm watch. Allison, you are more than welcome. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up with all the, I think I'm all caught up now, I think. So I think what I'll do is I will try to do a graphic where it kind of shows, I'll kind of draw a graphic where it shows, the best place for tropical storm winds and the best chance of flooding, and then just some scattered stuff in the metro area either side of 95. I think that might be helpful. I think we're okay now. I think I'm caught up. Let's see here. Well, I guess you could bat down the hatches, Holly. Maybe not crazy. Does this have a history of tornadic storms? Good question, Neely. It's spawned a few, but I will say I think we run a slight risk for southern Maryland and the Delmarva tomorrow. Let's just go down here and see if there's any. Let's see if there's any warnings here. Let me make sure my warnings are on here. So at this hour, there are no tornado warnings along 95, which is where they would be. So right now, I wouldn't say history, but it spawned a couple. And that's something we have to watch out for, too, in St. Mary's County and then across the bay. Thank you, Holly. The beach, Rachel, well, basically, I think it's going to be, bad for a couple of hours. Let me see something here. Okay. Let's go back to Futurecast. This Futurecast has a pretty good handle on it. I wasn't crazy about some of the earlier runs, but this is sort of how I have it playing out in my head as well. We can go over this too. So here's the location. So this is 8 o'clock tomorrow night, okay? And then boom, we will, so it's right south of Richmond. Now remember, last night's track was about to here, going like this, maybe just clipping the Delmarva. Now, by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, there it is, just north of Reedville, okay? Lower Bay, basically. But the good news is it moves fast. I mean, by 3 o'clock in the morning, it's now past Cape May. But we still see the, I'm kind of worried about some rip currents. Although this track is so far inland, it may not be a huge problem, but I would think there'd be some rip currents on Friday, even though the storm moves away on Friday. If you know anybody going to the beach, tell them to be aware. And then by 8 o'clock on Friday morning, it's already here. It's hauling. Okay, so we're not going to need a yellow weather alert for Friday from the storm. We're just going to we posted one for Thursday overnight into the pre-dawn hours of Friday. Okay, so there is the flash flood watch. Again, it technically doesn't cover Montgomery or DC or Fairfax. There could be some heavy downpours here because of the storms itself, but this is essentially issued because of Elsa. Okay, here's the rainfall. I tell you, it's kind of interesting. 2 have over an inch, 2 have under 1/10 of an inch, and 1 has 6/10. I like the 1 5 or 6/10 because we're going to get some kind of storm in DC, Elsa related or not. All right, so I think the question was, when we had one more question about the beach, that's 2 a.m. You're done in Ocean City with the bad weather, but, you've got, I would say, 11 o'clock to 2, 11 o'clock to 1:30 at the beach. Yes, Ryan, it does look like it will go south of La Plata for the most part. Don't see any real problems there, but I do see they are trying to bring in one band. See that heavy band of showers and storms right there? So when that comes in the afternoon, that could be a small problem, but kind of unrelated to Elsa, really. Mechanicsville, Sheila. I don't think you're going to have any problems in Mechanicsville. I think your biggest problem in Mechanicsville would be like La Plata, would be the early afternoon, mid-afternoon storms. Rachel, you're welcome. Jennifer, inland like Fredericksburg. Well, I mean, the track is essentially like where my arrow is, like this. Okay. So south of Fredericksburg, just north of the Northern Neck here, Reedville, probably just north of Tappahannock, pretty close to Patuxent River, Middle Bay, and then it does pull it, well north of Ocean City and even north of Georgetown, up almost over Cape May. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quantico, Kimberly, just some storms, but I don't see any huge problem with the winds tomorrow. And those storms will be in the noon to 6 p.m. hour. Fauquier County, same thing, Luana. I mean, we're talking about some storms, but I think the best chance for storms, that are not in areas that are not under any kind of advisory or watch would be around 3:30. That's a pretty good band of storms. That would cause there'd be some warnings on those. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Elkton, Virginia, not so sure where Elkton, Virginia is. Troy, I know Elkton, Maryland. I don't know Elkton, Virginia. I apologize. Oh, Rockingham County. Not well. It's just this batch right here. See this batch right here coming through. So I would say half an inch maybe. Lower Swan Point. Yeah. Well, Swan Point's far enough south to get some winds. So you could have 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some pretty hefty thunderstorms in the evening hours and early nighttime hours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sheila, you're more than welcome. I think we're all caught up here. But I do like this Futurecast. This is a much better. I'm not quite so sure why it's going hog wild here tomorrow afternoon around 3, 4 o'clock in the metro. But nonetheless, this I really like. Between like 9, 10 o'clock, there it slides across the bay, it covers the state of Delaware, but then it's pretty much through Cape May at 2:30, and then boom, it's gone by 4. I think that's a pretty reasonable depiction. St. Mary's County, Chris, yeah, you're under the tropical storm watch, and you could get some big storms, between 9 and 11. You also have a chance for a heavy storm between about 2 and 3. Dunkirk, I don't see any huge problems with Dunkirk. A couple bands of storms are possible. But you might have a wind gust of 40. All right, everybody, I'm going to get back to work here, and I think I'll draw that map I was talking about to try to show folks where the best places, best chance of a tornado, best chance of flooding, and best chance of winds over 39 miles an hour. All right, but listen, appreciate everyone. Thank you, Troy. I do appreciate that. Thanks for spending some time with me tonight. And you know what? We'll probably do this tomorrow night because the storm will be on our doorstep tomorrow night. So we probably will do it tomorrow night. So probably about the same time, close to the same time. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks a bunch. Appreciate it.